Quentin Tarantino is generally respected as a director. His films do well, and his name holds weight in helping them succeed. When he gives his opinions about anything in the filmmaking world, they also tend to hold weight. He's not afraid to do it. He'll even comment on larger trends in the industry, such as the move towards streaming. Quentin's been called a major cinephile, and he is. The man loves watching movies almost as much as making them. That's why it's not surprising he knows about more hidden, deep-cut films. Keep watching to learn about the forgotten Kevin Costner movie Quentin Tarantino calls a masterpiece. What does Quentin hate? If anyone is to understand Quentin Tarantino's tastes, they need to understand what he does and doesn't like. Begin with the negative. His critiques can be cutting. He once said that Robert Altman's Brewster McCloud was, quote, the cinematic equivalent of a bird shitting on your head. He doesn't care about the reputation of a director. He's spoken honestly about his dislike of John Ford's portrayal of Native Americans. He dislikes François Truffaut, a pioneer of the French New Wave. He's got beef with entire companies, including Disney. They messed with the release of Hateful Eight in favor of Star Wars. He dislikes entire genres such as biopics. He's also not a fan of CGI. Quentin's even willing to diss his own films. He claims he walked out of the theater for Natural Born Killers because he didn't agree with the final product. He's not into streaming or TV. As a fan of the theater, he thinks going to the theater is better than TV. And in love. Quentin shouldn't be seen as an angry critic who hates everything. He's nothing but an opinionated cinephile. He calls it like he sees it and is willing to say when he doesn't like a film. It works the other way as well. He enjoys spreading the love for projects he thinks deserve it. Despite his opinions on TV, he doesn't think it's useless. He admits that watching it is fun and that it has created memories for him. Owning a TV set has also allowed him to watch many of his favorite films on late-night TV. He does enjoy a few Western shows that feel like drawn-out films. These include classics like Bonanza and Deadwood. Despite carrying memories from these types of shows, he admits,
but it just doesn't compare to a movie, real story that stays with me for the rest of my life.
So what films have stayed with him for the rest of his life? He once listed a few that are among his favorite. Near the top is
Kinji Hukasaku's Battle Royale. If there is any movie that has been made since I've been making movies that I wish I had made, it's that one.
He also came up with a quirky list of films he's admired since becoming a director. He included the director of most of them, perhaps as a sign of respect. His list includes
Woody Allen's Anything Else, Kashi McKay's Audition, martial arts extravaganza The Blade, Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights, Rick Linklater's Dazed and Confused, Lars von Trier's Dogville, David Fincher's Fight Club, Fridays, the absolutely wonderful Korean monster movie The Host, Michael Mann's The Insider, Park Chan-wook's Joint Security Area, Sofia Coppola's Lost in Translation, The Matrix, Memories of Murder, Police Story 3, Shaun of the Dead, Speed, Team America, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's Unbreakable.
How do Quentin's tastes influence his filmmaking? He tends to create sweeping epics. He doesn't just want you to sit down for a few hours and leave. He wants to give you a powerful story that will stay with you. Martial arts and Asian films are some of his favorites, and their influences are clear in his films as well. Look at the Kill Bill franchise for just one example. He's also clearly a fan of the types of massive stunts he puts in his own films. He enjoys a few comedies as well. His films aren't afraid to get funny from time to time. Perhaps it was his enjoyment of Western TV shows that inspired him to make a Western film, Django Unchained. He wanted to take the ideas they gave and make a contained story in the frontier. People's tastes are complicated, though. There's one film that you wouldn't expect to have affected him at all. Almost no one got the chance to see it, but he did, and he'll never forget it. Why Quentin Tarantino loves Fandango. Most of Quentin's films go fairly mainstream, though there are definitely a few that aren't as well known. He's not afraid to champion lesser-known films from other stars or directors. It was a chance meeting that got him to see Fandango. He was at the Venice Film Festival and heard it was playing. He slipped out to see it and was never the same. In a 1994 Vanity Fair interview, he revealed that the 1985 film Fandango is one of his favorite films. He called it one of the best directorial debuts in the history of cinema. He also had high praise for Kevin Costner's acting. He thought he was so cool in the role that he wanted to imitate him in real life. He said, quote, "To me, the mark of a cool actor is, after you see his performance, you want to act like him." He never stopped being a fan of the actor either. He loved his 1990 thriller Revenge and called it a masterpiece. He also offered Kevin roles in his own projects, who turned down the chance to be in the Kill Bill films and was almost the villain Ace Woody in 2012's Django Unchained. Fandango captivated Quentin so much he saw it in theaters 5 times in the 1 week it played. He said it inspired him to make more character-driven work from then on. What's Fandango about? Fandango was a comedy drama directed by Kevin Reynolds and produced by Steven Spielberg. It's set in 1971 and stars a group of college friends. Skip ahead if you don't want spoilers or want to watch it for yourself. The film opens at a University of Texas frat house. Kevin's character and his 4 friends, who call themselves the Groovers, are having a graduation party. The mood is high until one of the friends, Kenneth, reveals he's been drafted to the Vietnam War and has to cancel his wedding to his fiancée. Another of the friends, Gardner, then reveals his draft notice as well. They decide the only way to celebrate their last moments of freedom is with an epic road trip across Texas. The specter of the potential danger continues to loom, especially when they find the tombstone of a 19-year-old soldier killed in the war. Gardner decides to call Kenneth's fiancée, Debbie, and talk her into calling the wedding back on. She agrees, and they have a beautiful little ceremony. Gardner was secretly in love with Debbie the whole time, but he's willing to let her go for the sake of his friend's happiness. It's a bittersweet ending. Debbie dances with Gardner one last time before he disappears. The Groovers split up, going off into an uncertain future. Why did Fandango fail? Even though they're major names today, the cast and crew of Fandango were unknowns in 1985. That was a death sentence for the little film. Warner Brothers even reportedly called it unreleasable. They gave it a severely limited run, and it was only screened in 27 theaters in January 1985. It made less than $100,000 at the box office on a $7 million budget. Positive reviews and a cult following today weren't enough to save it. Even Quentin's stamp of approval wouldn't have done much to help with the release of the film. At the time, he hadn't become the massive worldwide name he would grow to be either. Fandango will unfortunately be forced to stay in bargain bins and late-night movie channels. However, it wasn't all for nothing. Fandango had an impact on more than a younger Quentin. It helped grow what would eventually become massive careers. Everyone involved, especially the lead, may not have risen to where they were without it. Everyone has to start somewhere. How the movie transformed careers. Fandango got sent into production when Steven Spielberg was impressed by Kevin's student film that featured a similar story. It was a 1980 short film called Proof. He agreed to secure funding for Fandango. He did take his name off of the film later, though, because he didn't like the final product. Quentin predicted Kevin Reynolds was going to be the Stanley Kubrick of his decade. He never reached those heights, but he did direct Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Waterworld in the 90s, and the Emmy-winning limited series Hatfields and McCoys in 2012. The film gave Kevin Costner his first leading role, besides Sam Robards and Judd Nelson. 8 years later, he won 2 Academy Awards for his own directorial debut, 1990's Dances with Wolves. Fandango began a working relationship with Kevin and Quentin, who advised him on Django Unchained. It's worth asking actors or directors what films they admire. It shines a light into what's influenced their style and why they work on the projects they do. It can also help discover lesser-known works. The spotlight can't shine on them all at the same brightness, but they do deserve to be brought out of the darkness for a re-examination. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite lesser-known film? Let us know in the comments section below.